Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And my brothers and sisters, fair warning, I'm going to lose my mind on this one. Because the story that we've been covering out of New York and the sensitive places for over a year and a half, turns out that when an illegal migrant shoots a tourist, there are no charges for sensitive places, even though it's in Times Square. You cannot make this up. Send this everywhere because it is embarrassingly bad, even for New York gun controllers. And I can't wait to hear what you guys think right down there in the comments field. And of course, if you think this is insane and the Second Amendment is the answer across this amazing land, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. All right, my brothers and sisters, we're about to dive into this after a quick word from our sponsor, American Hartford Gold, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the other side. The content today is brought to you by American Hartford Gold. And brothers and sisters, with everything popping off around the world, wars cracking off, we've got inflation issues, we've got stock market volatility, we have cash concerns, we have oil concerns. It's a good time to take a look and at least know your options with American Hartford Gold. They are dedicated to offering gold, silver, platinum coins and bars for your investing needs. Whether you want to do it delivered to your door or you want an IRA, Roth IRA, 401k, TSP, they've got options. This is something you guys should check out. At American Hartford Gold, they aim to educate clients about investments in the precious metal industry, strive to provide unparalleled customer service built on trust, integrity, and absolute transparency, while holding a goal of achieving 100% customer satisfaction. Click the link in the description or call 844-727-3199. That's 844-727-3199 or text Langley to 65532. Again, that's 844-727-3199 or text Langley to 65532. All right, beautiful people, we are about to dive into a world where I'm going to, like I said in the intro, lose my mind. Spicy warning, fully issued. You remember that story that I covered a week ago where you had a illegal migrant, an asylum seeker, staying in New York City underneath the sanctuary city law, was shoplifting, 15 years old, no driver's license, no citizenship, and somehow had a gun. So no background checks, no purchasing, no nothing. Somehow in the gun control utopia of New York City, he got a gun and then shot a tourist and tried to kill a cop. Remember that story? Well, at the same place, Times Square, that was a big element of that. It's a sensitive place. Sensitive places is something that the New York State Legislature thumbed their nose right at the Supreme Court after they brought us the Bruin decision for the Sullivan Law, which basically said you can't decide who can and cannot have a permit. And then they said, well, you can't tell us where you can't carry it. And they threw a little temper tantrum, and we've been fighting it ever since. That's the backstory. That's where we've been. Now we fast forward to now, because sensitive places was the thing that was guaranteed to make us all safe in New York City, because there were so many certain rules. You could carry it here, and if you're wearing shoes, but only backed shoes, and if you're wearing a jacket, and on Tuesdays, if it's a full moon and there's werewolves that are riding around you, then you can carry a gun. It was the most ridiculous, stupid thing ever, attached with Class E felonies. They made this a felony to carry this where they don't want you to carry it, okay? So that's the backstory, and I'm already spicy. I haven't even told you about all the details here. Let's get it. Times Square shooting suspect faces no added charge for being in a gun-free zone. Well, that's really weird, because Times Square is one of those sensitive places that was on that list. They got signs everywhere. I gotta keep going. I'm gonna lose my mind before I even read the article. Nearly 2 years after New York lawmakers banned firearms in Times Square to prevent gun violence in the bustling tourist hub, a 15-year-old accused of shooting and injuring a tourist while shoplifting last week is facing no additional charges for bringing a gun into a so-called sensitive location. Okay, this is not getting better for New York. In fact, they're kind of looking a lot more dumb. But wait until I show you what the city says, then what I show you the gun controllers say. Guys, watch this whole video. You can't make this up. You just can't. I could not write something more insane. But prosecutors did not charge him with criminal possession of a weapon in a sensitive location. That's weird. The charge attached to breaking the new law. As of early November, only 3 people in the entire state faced a top charge of criminal possession of a firearm in a sensitive location, and none of those have been in Times Square, according to state data. At least one other person accused of opening fire in Times Square since the law took effect in September of 2022 was also not charged with violating the new law. So you got people popping off rounds in the sensitive locations you made such a big deal of to infringe upon everyone who's carrying legally, and to prevent them from doing it, they're actually popping off rounds during criminal commission of felonies, and you're not going to charge them. But if you're carrying one as a legal gun owner, you're getting charged. What in the actual F is going on up there? Okay, let's continue. Again, this is about a minor who has an illegal firearm, is not a citizen of this country, and is staying there in violation of immigration policy. Let's keep going. That's all I can do. That is all I can do, is keep going, because I love you guys and I do this for you. Prosecutors say the suspect in the Times Square shooting last Friday fired at a JD Sports employee, who was a cop, by the way, who tried to stop him from stealing merchandise and hit a nearby tourist in the leg, then fired at police as he ran away. Doug Cohen, a spokesperson for the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, progressive Alvin Bragg, by the way, declined to comment on why the office did not charge the suspect with the criminal possession of a weapon in a sensitive location, a Class E felony punishable by up to 4 years in prison, but noted the defendant already faces more serious charges. So, like attempted murder in the face of all your gun control desires and dreams? Guys, could not be more of a mockery. Now, I'm not advocating for safety for sensitive places. That's stupid. But the idea that they made such a big deal about it, and that was the big thumb and poke in the eye to the Supreme Court, and then they don't do anything about it when people are actually committing felonies, but they're ready to do it to anybody who's just carrying a gun who's not committing a felony. Guys, it hurts. Let's go to Amy Swearer, because Amy Swearer is one of those witnesses that goes in front of the Senate and does fantastic every single time. I've covered her a bunch of times. Here we go. Amy Swearer, a legal scholar at the Conservative Heritage Foundation, said, "It seems like the law's goal is only to charge people who carry guns for self-defense, but don't actually use them to commit crimes." Yep. "I think that is incoherent," Swearer said. "You are essentially suggesting that the only reason you would charge someone with this offense is if it's the only offense you could charge them with, which would suggest they probably were not the type of violent perpetrator who was causing problems in the first place." Well said. Translate that out to not scholar or legal scholar. So what you're saying is someone is committing a felony with a firearm, attempts to murder someone with said firearm, not in the country legally, pursuing asylum under sanctuary city policies. No, they're already in trouble. We don't need to put on the sensitive places Class E felony. That would be just too extreme. Now, everyday gun owner did not commit a felony, did not shoplift, was not assaulting anybody, did not attempt to murder. Are you carrying a gun in a sensitive place? Felony. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. And one more thing, because this would not be a complete cake of stupid if I didn't put a cherry on top from the gun control group, Giffords Law Center. You listen to this and tell me what planet this makes sense on. But David Pacino, legal director for the Giffords Law Center, so high up there, a gun violence prevention organization, said even though the Manhattan DA's office did not bring a sensitive location charge in the recent Times Square case, the law still deters people from carrying guns in high traffic areas. What? Okay, let's continue. Maybe it makes more sense later. If that shoplifter had entered that store without a gun on him, it is likely that there would have been nobody injured in that incident, he said. But because there was a gun present, there was the possibility of that escalation and that violence taking place. If the criminal, who was not a legal citizen, who could not buy a gun, who was a minor, didn't have the gun while they were shoplifting and committing attempted murder, they wouldn't have been able to shoot anybody. So really, the law makes sense. Guys, my eyeballs are about to pop out of my head. It's like I don't even know a good analogy, and I'm good at analogies. One last thing, though, from the Oracle over at Giffords Law Center. Pacino said prosecutors should charge someone with violating the sensitive location ban when they bring a firearm to Times Square or any other area on the list, but he said the measure is intended more as a deterrent. What? Okay. So it's a deterrent from anyone legally bringing their firearm there. That's your explanation. It's a deterrent, and they should be charged unless you were in the middle of committing a felony, unless you were a minor in possession of a weapon, unless you are attempting murder, then you shouldn't be charged. But dang it, if you didn't break any laws and you are carrying your gun and you have a Second Amendment right to do so, you should get charged because it's a deterrent, dadgummit. Guys, please send this out. I'm doing all I can to even read this without screaming into the microphone. Whew, but I'm glad we made it through. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.